One thing that shines the most in recent Dragon Ball games is the online ranked battle mode. And the main reason is because who doesn't want to figure out who could potentially be the best of the best? Who doesn't want to see if they can work their way all the way to the top to be known as the #1 player? But as of late, ranked battle hasn't been as impactful as it was in the past. And there are a plethora of reasons why, which is why I hope in Xenoverse 3, these reasons, these factors, if you will hopefully be corrected. The first thing is the connection stability. Now, out of all Dragon Ball games, the Xenoverse series is one of those games where it is possible to play online, but it's not really as stable as the other Dragon Ball games have been. Now, one of the primary reasons is because Xenoverse uses a P2P system instead of a server-based system. So, for example, if there's any desyncing issues or somebody's connection just isn't holding up, there isn't a server to repair it. If there's any type of issues with the connection, you pretty much got to deal with it, or somebody ends up getting disconnected, and since there's no server, that's the end of the battle. And it's kind of disappointing to be in the heat of battle and then all of a sudden the battle cuts out, or there's extreme lag and nothing to repair it, which is why I would hope that Xenoverse 3 has a server-based system. So that way, if somebody's connection isn't holding up, the server will at least attempt to repair it. Or if they end up desyncing or disconnecting, you're not entirely screwed. They'll potentially swap out the human character with maybe a CPU, and you get to finish off the CPU and get some sort of points off of that. I would just really hope that they come to some sort of measure to have some sort of dedicated server system for the online mode. That way, we can have a smoother experience without really having to worry about people disconnecting or desyncing, etc, etc. Next would be how to counter boosters and fixing the ranking system. Now, in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1 and 2, there have always been boosters in the game, but less so in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1, and the main reason is because it had a proper ranking system, because you actually had tiers of ranks that you could achieve, either through all the way to the bottom, which I personally forgot which one it was. I'm pretty sure it's either F or G, one of those two, and then all the way up to the top, which is Z rank. Now, having a ranking system like that helps you dictate how many points you win or lose, whereas in Xenoverse 2, there isn't exactly a rank anymore. It's just who can get the most amount of points, and from there, it determines how much you win and how much you lose. And the issue with that is it's not necessarily concrete, because it varies from person to person. Whoever you fight will determine how much you win, as compared to whatever rank you are is how much you would win. So I hope that they find a certain balance for that. On top of that, also lower the requirements, because I get that a lot of people love playing online and want to earn all those points, and that's all fine and good. But having to get all the way up to 100,000 points to try to stay on top is extremely tedious. Like, maybe have it like in the lower thousands, so one, it's easier to manage, and two, it's a bit more impactful. For example, let's say that you would need maybe 5,000 points to be at like the top ranks. So maybe you lose like a few points against somebody, it makes the fact of losing maybe 10 points, 50 points, or even 100 points a bit more impactful than it is in Xenoverse 2, where you will lose 1 point, 50 points, 100 points, 1,000 points, and it practically means absolutely nothing. Concerning boosters, the main reason why it's so much of a problem is because of how the ranking system is set up. Because back when Xenoverse 2 first launched, you actually earned less than you lost, but then they updated it to the point where you earned more than you lost. So people exploit that to try to get people of lower rank all the way up to the top, and it's been a reoccurring issue since they patched or quote unquote updated the ranking system. So that's why I believe we need a standardized amount of how much we earn and how much we lose based on an actual tier system. So for example, let's say that you are in S double plus rank and that's the highest rank in the game, and you fight a greenhorn, which is maybe like a G rank. If you lose to that G rank, the G rank will probably earn maybe 1,000 points, maybe a bit more, you know, something to commemorate the fact that he just beat a top tier player. That's all fine and good. However, the S double plus rank would lose more than how much the G rank just earned. So for example, the G rank maybe earned like 1,000 points, maybe a bit more. The S double plus rank will lose maybe 5,000 points because you just lost to a greenhorn. So that way, if somebody tries to help somebody boost, you can lose and let that person try to climb their way up to the top, but you're also sacrificing your rank significantly because getting 5,000 points is not an easy task whatsoever. So that way, it's a type of prevention system for people trying to aid others to reach the top, because ranked battle is supposed to be a competition between everybody, not aiding somebody to get to the top. So I do believe that if they implement a tier system and they have the, I guess, the risk reward system implemented properly, then us dealing with boosters would potentially and hopefully be a thing of the past. And last but not least, and I think this is probably the most important part to me personally, but there has to be a penalty system. Now, I've said this in Xenoverse 1 coming into Xenoverse 2, that for Xenoverse 2, there has to be a penalty system because there wasn't one in Xenoverse 1, and unfortunately, there isn't one in Xenoverse 2 as well. Their system to counteract people who rage quit is to turn their name red so that you know not to fight them. Now, in a general retrospect, that's not necessarily a bad thing because I would like to know who would rage quit so that way I don't end up fighting that person. However, it defeats the purpose if you spend all that time within a battle, you beat the person, and right before you get the points, or right before you beat them, they quit and all of your effort is just thrown down to the wayside. I don't think that's fair for absolutely anybody, which is why there needs to be a penalty system. Now, I believe that if you disconnect for whatever reason, either your internet went out, or you had to go somewhere, or you just so happened to quit the game, you lose a guaranteed 1,000 points, point blank, period. And I get it. Like, there are some people out there who do have to potentially leave or step away or have to turn off the game for specific reasons. I get it. Not everybody is a rage quitter. However, you should understand the risks of playing online if you potentially have to go somewhere or if you are a rage quitter. You should understand the risks of what would happen if you quit during a ranked battle, which should be a deduction of points on the person who quit. I don't understand why that's never been implemented in Xenoverse 1 or in Xenoverse 2, but it's been implemented in all previous Dragon Ball games that had an online mode. So if they could have a penalty system, I think that'll add a bit more balance to how, I guess, the system works in terms of people just constantly rage quitting, because it gets annoying, a lot of people get frustrated from it, and there's no penalty for doing it except your name turning red, which once again isn't a bad thing, but it defeats the purpose because they'll still do it anyway if they lose no points. So if they add a penalty system, then I would be extremely excited to play ranked battle knowing that if I battle somebody, spending all that time and effort trying to beat them, and before the end of the battle or right before I earn the points they quit, I still get something from that battle. So those are all the ideas I came up with to hopefully help the ranked battle mode in a potential Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. Now, I know that there are probably a lot of other ways that could help out the ranked battle system that I might have missed, and that's where you guys come in. If you guys have any ideas that I might have missed, or ideas that you could think of that could help out a ranked battle mode in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3, let me know in the comment section below. Because once again, I would love for this game to be potentially the greatest Dragon Ball game of all time, and in order to do so, there are certain things that were in the previous game that may need to be fixed so that it doesn't become a reoccurring issue in a Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 sequel. So again, if you guys have any ideas whatsoever that you could think of that could help out the ranked battle mode, let me know in the comment section below. Once again, these discussions are a community effort. I would love to hear your thoughts. I would try to respond to all the comments as soon as possible, because this is our attempt to hopefully discuss some things to make the next Dragon Ball game the best game it could potentially be. But anyways guys, I'm Ndukauba, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.